In the US, there's Pebble Beach in August every year. Britain has the Goodwood Festival, Bewley and its Autojumble. While in Australia we have, well, not very much really. And that's the way it's been for some time, but not anymore. Now Australia has Motorclassica, the classic motor show and international concours d'elegance. The bad news is you've just missed the first one. And what a show you missed. The seeds for Motorclassica were sown early in 2009, when enthusiast Carlos Patira approached experienced event manager Paul Mathers to see if there was enough interest to support a world-class classic car show. Paul, a classic car enthusiast in his own right, thought there might be, and put together a business plan that included a visit to Pebble Beach to see how things were done there. The rest, as they say, is history. The plan was to cast the net wide across the classic car community in Australia, and also to mount a show that would allow different levels of competition and exhibition so as to appeal to the widest possible audience. There would be both the formal concours d'elegance as well as opportunities for the general public to view many of the cars for free. Day one of the three-day event started under bright sunshine at that Melbourne venue long associated with motor cars and motor racing, Albert Park. Wedged between the sailing clubs and a football ground redevelopment, the car park had witnessed a trickle of classics from not long after dawn. By the time the morning rush hit its stride, the trickle had swelled to a steady flow of vehicles from across the entire spectrum of veterans, vintage and post-vintage thoroughbreds. Many a morning jogger around the lake was attracted to the gathering throng of cars and people. In all, more than 70 vehicles took the opportunity to take part in the Albert Park event, a fact appreciated by the sizable crowd. The bright spring sunshine and lakeside setting was kind to all of those cars that attended, but there were a few standouts. In this centenary year for Alfa Romeo, this brilliant red 1930 6C 1750 GT looked sensational. Its Brianza body made it one of only three in the world. The Alfa that had everybody intrigued was this one-of-a-kind 1937 Aero Spider 6C. The brainchild of one of the greatest designers of all time, Vittorio Jano, boasted a central driving position and highly advanced aerodynamic bodywork, and all that in 1937. Originally designed to take on the might of the pre-Second World War auto unions and Mercedes-Benz, it's powered by a mid-mounted 6C 2300 straight-six engine. Among the American iron catching the morning sun was a sensational 1957 Chev Bel Air two-door and an eye-catching powder blue 1936 Cord Sportsman. The Cord particularly caught the eye, looking nothing like its age. Resplendent in a pith helmet, George Forbes was kept busy showing off a trio of Rolls-Royces, including an absolutely splendid 1912 Silver Ghost, which eventually took off the prize for Best Edwardian in the Concours d'Elegance. A trio of Benzes drew a consistent stream of admirers, bridging as they did a very significant few decades in the company's history. The flame-red 1936 54K Cabriolet was a real eye-catcher in the morning sun, but, as ever, the 1956 300 SL Gullwing had a constant stream of admirers. But it was the third Benz, the 1960 190 SL, that caught the judge's eye. At the Concours, it took off the award for European and British post-war classic for its owner, Murray Allen. Also pulling an appreciative crowd was Alan Reid's 1932 DeLarge DS8, featured elsewhere on this site. Rumour has it that only politics prevented it from winning more than the show's Best European and British pre-war award. It was an import and eventual star of the show that was the biggest crowd puller on the Friday morning. First sold in Australia, this magnificently restored 1928 Daimler P150 double-six limousine is now owned by Bob and Barb Lakowski from Wisconsin. The only known survivor of 12 produced, this behemoth is 21 feet long and tips the scales at well over 3.5 tonnes. A 7.1 litre V12 engine moves this classic Daimler at a very majestic pace. A major prize winner at Pebble Beach, it also took out the top award at Motorclassica, judged Best in Show. The value of cars on Melbourne's roads for that Friday morning's peak went up by many millions of dollars as the Albert Park contingent hit the bitumen, headed for the Royal Exhibition buildings. Leading the cavalcade, in a car he got for his 21st birthday and now drives every day, a cherry red Mark II Jag, was Motorclassica organiser Paul Mathers. There may well have been a few hearts in mouths among the owners as they set off to battle Melbourne's Friday morning traffic in cars worth well into six figures, but all made it through all right. Along the way, they managed to delight many a Melburnian with a glimpse of the golden age of motoring. The venue for the exhibition and Concourse was one of Melbourne's icon buildings, the Royal Exhibition Buildings in Carlton Gardens. Now World Heritage listed, it was completed in 1880 for Melbourne's first international exhibition and was also the venue for Melbourne's first motor show in 1925. It was the perfect place in every way for the first Motorclassica. Fine spring weather has been at a premium in Melbourne this year, and there may have been a fear that the citizens of the city would hit the parks and gardens or flock to their favourite sporting pastime on such a weekend. But they didn't. Instead, they came in their droves, literally in their tens of thousands, and they weren't disappointed. In total, there were some 160 cars on display, plus a few interesting motorbikes. As well as the cars, there were a number of exhibitors who took advantage of getting so many classic car enthusiasts in the one place at the one time to offer their goods and services. For one or two others, it was a chance to relive their glory days, and there was a steady stream of fans who remembered when Bob was at the absolute pinnacle of Australian motorsport. It was also an opportunity for Motorclassica's celebrity guest, Sir Stirling Moss, to meet and greet the army of fans he still has in Australia. Moss has been an occasional visitor to Australia over the years, mostly in his racing days, and had actually raced at the Albert Park track when it hosted the Australian Grand Prix in 1958, a race he won, beating Jack Brabham into second place. The man who has become a living treasure of the automotive world was at ease among the cars and the people who appreciate them. Stirling was fulsome in his praise for the first Motorclassica and told event organiser Paul Mathers that he'd like to be back again next year to see the event develop and grow. The good news is that Motorclassica will be on again in 2011, once again at the exhibition buildings, from the 21st to the 23rd of October. Mark it on your calendar as an event not to be missed. And it won't be a case of same old, same old. The cars entered in this year's Concourse can't compete again for 3 years, so there'll be a whole new collection of the best of our classic machines. Organisers anticipate a much stronger representation from other states and from overseas, as well as those whose projects will come to fruition in the months between now and next October. 2011 will also see a repeat of the Albert Park display at the beginning of the 3-day event, as well as the picnic with the classics at Argyle Square in nearby Lygon Street. Sunday saw strong support from a number of car clubs at the Carlton venue and a great roll-up of spectators. Will it grow to rival the great classic car shows of the world? Only time will tell, but it's off to a great start. And if the enthusiasm and professionalism of the organisers and the support of car lovers are things to go by, Motorclassica is set to become a cornerstone event in Melbourne's proud motoring calendar.